it's beat tight. Oh, my body's breathing, it's just you and me. Feel my heart, it's beat tight. Oh, my body's breathing, it's just you and me. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call.
Everybody ready, set, go. Rev it up and let's roll. There's a party in the fast lane. Got my hands on the wheel and I'm flying. Heartbeat loud as the thunder rolls. Riding in on the stampede of lightning. I'm bringing back the sunshine. Bringing back the sunshine. Baby, it's about time. Oh, bring it back.
Welcome back to the NASCAR Late Model Stock Weekly Series, presented by the Eric Jones Foundation, here on the Ryan Racer YouTube channel. As always, I'm your host, Ryan Murphy, as the Late Model Stock Weekly Series and its drivers get set to take on the historic, the famous home of the Snowball Derby, and that is the Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola, Florida, that is set to lay host to round 7 of the weekly series in 2024, season 2 of this iRacing league. And Five Flags has seen plenty of action from the weekly series, especially way back in season 1. But this is the first time the drivers have visited this racetrack in the new season. So it's going to be interesting to see. Do we have some of the same key players from the races last year taking on this track? How will weather come into play as these drivers race underneath the hot Pensacola, Florida sun? What's going to happen? Are these drivers going to be able to keep the cars underneath them? We're going to have to wait to find out. But a little history here on this racetrack, because it is a historic one. Five Flags Speedway opened all the way back in 1953. Extremely old racing surface here. 70 years old last year, celebrating its 70th anniversary of racing. As we said, home of the Snowball Derby. In real life, kind of one of those crown jewel races, the one that caps off the year for the short track racing and stock car racing world. And the first of the Snowball Derbies was held all the way back. Didn't start in 1953, the year the track opened, but the first Snowball Derby aired and happened and was hosted here at Five Flags Speedway in the year 1968. So took about, say 15 years or so before the Snowball Derby would kind of create a landmark, per se, here at this racetrack in Pensacola. The city of Five Flags, Pensacola is known as, and that is where Five Flags Speedway gets its name. And these drivers, I'm sure, are plenty excited, because I know drivers like Cole Denton, Tyler Gurley love this racetrack. They love driving around in it. We got plenty of new drivers who I'm sure are going to show plenty of space. Robbie Holder flying past into turn 1 there, past our turn 1 camera. Already had 14 minutes of practice here so far. Let's take a look at our practice sheets as everybody's out on the racetrack. Top 10 drivers so far. Justin Brooks, no surprise. We talk about how good he is, and you see a lot of guys on the sim. If you are an iRacer yourself, I think one of our cameras got stuck in a bush. We're just going to have to ignore that. Camera got stuck in a bush over by the grandstands. Somebody needs to trim that thing up, because apparently they forgot to do that in the offseason. Austin Cook right there having a reset. But as the top 10 on the practice charts sets out, very surprising, Cole Denton, who had a lot of success at this racetrack last year, over a 10th off the pace in comparison to the top of the charts, Justin Brooks there, with a quick time of 16:21. Just behind Justin Brooks, about half a 10th back, is Hunter Harriet, making his first start here in the series in his number 81 car. Tyler Gurley in the top 5 there in 3rd, looking pretty sporty. They're only 0.07 of a second with a 16:28 behind Justin Brooks. Sean Rowe there sitting in the top 5 looking to continue his top 5 streak. Sean Rowe has yet to finish outside of the top 5 in the weekly series and has the best average finish through the first 6 races coming into this week at 5 Flags than anyone else in the series, and namely those without a win. So Sean Rowe looking to maybe break into victory lane here tonight. We'll mention him a little bit later with our drivers to watch in the race, our spotter guide per se. Jacob York, once again, only driver in the series in season 2 so far who has not only back-to-back wins, but he's the only driver so far in the season with multiple wins. So Jacob York currently in the top 5 on the practice charts here in Pensacola, about a 10th back on Justin Brooks's quickest lap. Jordan Powell has shown phenomenal improvement in his starts in the series. Finally got his iRating up to be legally allowed to run here in the series. And Jordan Powell in that 75 camp have found some incredible pace. I don't know where Jordan found it. I know he's been doing a lot more iRacing as of lately. At least when he can, he grinded his iRacing back up to, like I said, be able to actually be eligible to run in the sessions. And he's had really good speed. He's already got 2 top 5s on the year. I don't even know if he had 2 top 5s all of last season here in the weekly series. So Jordan, oh, and there he goes for a slide off turn 2. Looking for all the pace he could possibly find, but only 6th, or currently 6th, I should say, on the practice chart so far. So Jordan Powell, a lot of speed inside that number 75 Chevrolet. And we talked about him a minute ago. Cole Denton, really surprising, seems to be struggling here in the early goings of practice. 17 minutes he has already had to complete a good time and has yet to break into the top 5. So a little uncharacteristic of the 46 in that City Chevrolet Meliello camp than what we've pretty much ever seen out of Cole in his early and short run speed. So we'll see if maybe Cole Denton has a different strategy going into the race weekend. Maybe he's focusing more on long run speed rather than going for the pole position. And then another driver that you really need to look at is Austin Cook there in that 17. Last year's champion. He's all the way down there at the bottom of the speed charts as well. Over a 10th. And some change behind Justin Brooks' best time. And that puts him 8th on the speed charts. So a little bit of an upsetting lap there for Austin Cook. But all in all, I mean, a 10th isn't a lot. And this field is definitely spread out pretty close. But just uncharacteristic of some of these more veteran drivers here in the series, being Cole Denton and Austin Cook. Another driver we got in the field, he's running this 75 machine, but you see him on the leaderboard there as the number 11, Jaden Kratasi, in his Oldsmobile Cutlass, driving it down into turn number 1. Making some of his first laps here on the speedway with the track as hot and slick as it is. You see him working his hands up there off the exit of 2 down the back straightaway. But this 75 and number 11 camp of Jaden Kratasi is one of those guys you really have to look at. He's kind of this new wave of IRL drivers that have made their way into the series. These guys that run these cars in real life who show phenomenal speed. But again, Jaden really struggling to try to get a quicker lap down, I should say. About a 10th and a half off from Justin Brooks' best time. But still, car looks pretty stable. A little bit loose and goose up there off turn 2, but he looks all right, at least for the moment. And maybe he has a similar play to try to make some long run speed out of these automobiles, and specifically his Oldsmobile Cutlass. Another car, last car inside the top 10, Robbie Holder there in that 67. We love having him on the racetrack, and he currently finishes out your top 10 with a 16:39. Just shy of a 16:40, but it's good enough to put him inside the top 10. If we want to look at the rest of your practice times, there they are. Zach Nichols, with his quick time, puts him 11th on the speed charts. And then Brady Cox, making his first start in a couple weeks, has shown pretty good speed. He fell out of the playoffs on points, but he might be able to work his way back in with a good run here at Pensacola. And speaking of points, it might be good to go ahead and do a nice little recap, at least so far, of what the season has looked like here in the weekly series. So let's run things back all the way back to North Wilkesboro. We talked about Jaden Kratasi making his first start in the series since this race at North Wilkesboro, and he was a threat for the entirety of that event. Led the most laps, ran up front all day long, but unfortunately inside 20 to go, didn't have the tire he needed to make a run back to the front and hold off the leader. And ultimately Tyler Curley picks on the win for the first race of season 2. Austin Cook Brings it through turns 3 and 4. Takes the lead from Hunter Johnson late in the running at the Nashville Fairgrounds for our second race of the year. And Austin Cook would never have to look back, even with some untimely cautions late in the event. Sean Rowe was a hard charger, but only ended up finishing third. But that would ultimately make it a 1-2 for TJC Racing for the first 2 races of the season. Phenomenal start for those 2 drivers. But an interesting stat for them as well. Of the winners we've had so far, that duo of teammates has led the least amount of laps for those winners. And then we had arguably the biggest race of the year. Myrtle Beach Speedway put on an absolute thriller. Got to call that race alongside Norris Andrews up in the booth, and that was an absolutely phenomenal time. Cole Denton chasing down Jimmy Gawker for the race lead in the early goings of the race. Jimmy Gawker on pole position, fell off quickly, but Cole Denton was able to reel him in and take that lead. But ultimately, after all the events that would unfold, it would come down to a green-white checkered restart. Cole Denton shooting it all the way down to the bottom, 3 wide, looking for the race lead and the win. But unfortunately, Cole Denton would not be able to take the battle to what would be the best day and the first win for the driver in that silver bullet number 97, and that was Jacob York, who ended up taking home his first career win here in the weekly series in his first start. And then we run it back to Concord Speedway, a brand new racetrack on the series schedule, the Tricky Triangle of the South. And Jacob York ended up taking the lead late in that event. And similar situation, Jacob York never looked back, and this allowed Jacob to go back-to-back. And the only multi-time winner so far this season is Jacob York, with those 2 wins that he had at Concord and at Myrtle Beach. So Jacob York looking to add a 3rd win to his tally so far in the season. But these 2 right here, Justin Brooks, Jacob York, they have been racing each other like dogs ever since they first hit the racetrack together. But Justin Brooks has some phenomenal speed, just like we talked about in practice. Still currently sitting on top of the practice charts here at Pensacola. But Justin Brooks in his Cadillac throwing back to the front at North Wilkesboro after getting involved in multiple incidences early in the race. Nothing was going to stop his Cadillac from going to victory lane. And he ends up taking home his first win of the season at Hickory 2 weeks ago. And then last week, another new track on the schedule, Kern County Raceway, where Justin Brooks and Jacob York, we talked about what happens when these 2 get around each other. Well, last week it boiled over. Jacob York turns Justin Brooks about halfway point of the race. They were not happy with each other. They even scuffled a couple more times throughout that event. And that opened the door wide for Cole Denton in the 46, the Crown Prince of qualifying, to finally claim his first win of the 2024 season in the weekly series, and ultimately allowed for him to be on the top of the overall points standings. So that kind of recaps it. And just like we talked about, Cole Denton currently sitting at the top of your point standings. Let's take a quick peek at those. Through 6 races so far, Cole Denton at the top with 210 total points to his name. And that win locks him at the top of the overall standings, along with his 4 top 5s. Austin Cook, with his 1 win and 5 top 5s, only missed 1 race already through those 6. So he's finished top 5 in every race that he's been able to participate in. And he is only 15 points behind Cole Denton there in that 2nd spot in the points lead with his 1 win as well. Tyler Curley, teammate to Austin Cook, 3 top 5 so far in the year with his 1 win and 179 total points. Locks him into the chase for the championship in the last 5 races of the year. Jacob York, we talked about it. He's the only guy with multiple wins on the season and puts him 4th in points, 3 top 5s. I believe 2 less starts than most everybody else in the field. So Jacob York really showing up and showing out every single time we head to a new racetrack week in and week out. Then we had that guy right there, Justin Brooks, who tangled with that guy just above him, Jacob York, last week. Looked like Brooks was kind of keen on winning that Kern County race after winning the pole. And he has the most poles so far here through the year with 3, including that one last week at Kern County. But a DNF due to damage not being able to be repaired and really just not enough time to try to make an effort to get back out on the racetrack. Justin Brooks currently sits in the top 5 in points, so he's still locked in to the playoff picture. But there are plenty of guys below who are not locked in yet without a win who, if they did win, would be bumped up ahead of Justin Brooks as it sits right now. So that might be something Brooks needs to worry about, and primarily on getting some good points finishes. And then you look at the rest of those numbers. One of those guys we're going to talk about before we get into the race tonight, Sean Rowe in that 99 machine, currently 6th on the points. But if you look at the overall regular season standings, Sean Rowe is actually second only to Cole Denton with his 208 points. So Sean Rowe has been arguably the most consistent driver of everyone. He just has yet to break into that win column, and he has a great opportunity to do that here tonight in Pensacola. Just below Sean Rowe, Hunter Johnson made one less start on the field. 2 top 5s, 4 top 10s so far for him through the season. Pretty consistent there for the 88 of Johnson as well. Michael Deitch with his 3 top 10s is currently 8th on the points. Talking about Jordan Powell, that says 1 top 5. He actually has 2, I believe, so far here through the season with his 4 top 10s. And that's 111 points, sits him comfortably inside the top 10 and the playoff picture in the point standings. And then Anthony Sharps rounds out your top 10 in points there for the weekly series. Now, if you guys are interested in seeing more of those points details, make sure to go ahead and join on up in the Discord and go ahead and check the points tab to see everyone else on that list. As we head back to the practice session, things have shaken up a little bit. Nichols there in the 41 car bumped himself up from outside the top 10, so that puts Robbie Holder down there in 11th with his quickest time. And now Nichols moves up into the 8th spot. Now, another bit of drama we did talk about that kind of came up last week involved this car right here, and that's the 97 of Jacob York, but it also involved the 33 of Justin Brooks, who sits just a little farther up there on pit road. And that was, needless to say, something that I don't think a lot of people were expecting to see when we were at racing last week at Kern County out in California. These two got together multiple times throughout the race, and it looks like this moment right here was just all Jacob York needed to boil over. And as he gets knocked up the racetrack right here by Justin Brooks off the exit of turn 4, York has to crank it, basically makes a phenomenal save even though he hits the wall. That could have been a whole lot worse for the 97 camp. As they get into turn 1, Justin Brooks looked like he was clear to take the race lead, and Jacob York says, "No, sir. I'm going to use the chrome horn. I'm going to let you know that what you just did, I am not happy about it." And fortunately, both of these guys ended up having very, very poor days, still finishing right inside the top 10, just barely. But it wasn't much that it was going to take. And those guys could definitely be in a much better points position had it not been for that situation. But in talking with both these guys over the last week, they have since came together. They've talked things over. They understand that, there was a lot of frustration between them throughout the race. And Jacob took responsibility. He acknowledged his mistakes. And supposedly, between these two guys, just hearing them kind of chat about one another and the situation that ensued, they seem to be okay with each other for now. So as it stands, both these guys are clean slate, as if it never happened. But there's a famous saying, and it's something a lot of people always mention, that's that race car drivers never forget. So I have a gut feeling both these guys are going to be up front tonight, and chances are they get to beating and banging, and maybe those tempers start to flare yet again. So we might see some even more drama between those two drivers, it being Jacob York and Justin Brooks. But we'll have to find out, because we still got a minute left here in practice, and we still got plenty of drivers out on the racetrack trying to make a solid lap. Right now, here's Hunter Johnson in his number 88 JBD Designs Ford Mustang, trying to make some quick time laps as Johnson jumps up into the top 10. Finally able to put some quick times down. That puts him 10th on the practice charts and knocks Jaden Kratasi in the number 11, aka also a number 75 car, out of the top 10 on the charts. So Brady Cox gets knocked down to 13th. With about half a minute left here in practice, Hunter Johnson is maybe trying to feel this racetrack out for himself. Oh, dead sideways there off turn 4. I almost have no doubt we're going to see a lot of moments like that in qualifying. And I will not be shocked. So just to clear up any confusion, oh my goodness. Jordan Powell, I think, oh no. Oh, no. Well, it's a good thing this isn't real life, because if this was real life, we might have needed to call the AMR safety team, because that was horrific. But there it is. The checkered flag has fallen on practice, and Justin Brooks goes top of the board. Who would have thought? Nah, I'm just kidding. You guys already know, if you've been keeping up with things, that Justin Brooks is a phenomenal driver, not only in the sim, but in real life as well. 10K I rating for Justin Brooks. So he knows how to get it done here on the sim, and he's proven it every single week that he's been on the racetrack here in the series. But as we get set for qualifying, these drivers are going to look to take on this half-mile, 15-degree banked speedway in Pensacola. Everybody's going to get lined up, get set to send them out. So Hunter Johnson, one of the first cars in line to go qualify as everybody else gets set. I would say it's almost a safe bet to put Justin Brooks as your pole winner, given that he already has 3 so far on the year. But we're expecting a lot of guys to find some speed. So it looks like Robbie Holder may be one of our first to qualify. This is one of those processes that takes a little bit. We just got to make sure everybody's all good. Oh, also, one thing we forgot to mention, new colors for Sean Rowe this week. Thankfully, he didn't have to get on me about refreshing my trading paint so you guys could see it. But he's running that beautiful silver bullet paint scheme created by himself, the Coors Light Ford Mustang for paintbrush racing. Brady Cox with some new colors as well there on his number 76 machine, who I believe is going to be our first car to qualify in the Lime Age Media Chevrolet. Things are getting set. If you haven't already, make sure you vote in the pre-race poll. That poll will end at the conclusion of qualifying. So far, we have 3 votes in for a repeat winner. So it's very interesting. We've only had 1 repeat winner so far through 6 races, so I'm enthused to see who do you guys think is going to be our new winner. Is it Cole Denton, or our repeat winner? Does Jacob York make it his 3rd win of his season and his career? Does Justin Brooks go try to make it 2 for 3 in the last 3 races? Or do we have a first-time winner? Do we have Brady Cox come in and maybe surprise things? Or does Sean Rowe finally, in his number 99 Mustang, break into the wheel column? We're going to find out here tonight at the conclusion of qualifying. But right now, Brady Cox out on the racetrack in his number 76 Chevrolet. You just tell every single time these drivers dive off into the corner how much speed they're carrying. Not only down the straightaway, but it looks like they just zip right around through the corner. First lap on the board for Brady Cox, a 16:29. That is not bad for a first lap around. If he can improve some, this will put him in a really good position to maybe even start inside the top 5. Seems like the track maybe is heated up a little bit as well. Brady Cox, 2nd lap on the board. It is not quicker, so best time for Brady Cox is going to be a 16:29 as the first car out on the racetrack. Next car around, the 67 of Robbie Holder. Heads out on the racetrack through turns 3 and 4. I believe this is going to be his first time lap as he hits the stripe. Yes, first time lap for Robbie Holder. That's going to be a 16:46 for Robbie. All the way on the chip as he enters turn 3. Brings that car nice and smooth off turn 4, really. We've seen some guys struggle with the looseness off the corner. Oh, big jump there for Robbie Holder. About a whole 10th he gained and some change. But unfortunately not going to be enough to take the top spot, and Robbie's going to be delegated to 2nd with a 16:36 as his best time. Here comes Hunter Johnson. Only just got on the racetrack in his JBR machine right at the conclusion in the last minute and a half or so of practice. So some of the first couple laps Hunter Johnson's going to be carrying around this speedway are right now, but he's always got that raw pace, so you can count on him inside this Mustang. 2-3. Oh, big moment. Oh, save it. Oh, I think he hit the outside wall, so that's going to call it even on that lap time, unfortunately for Hunter Johnson. And that's going to end his quali run with a 16. Oh, wow. Austin Cook is really blinking. Oh, my goodness. We do not normally see this out of... Oh. I don't think Austin Cook is here. Something is going on with that 17 cam and his internet. But, here he is. He's finally back in full pace as the 17 is out on the racetrack. It looks like that first lap maybe didn't count. So this is going to be the money one, I imagine, off of turn 4. Where does it put him? Second quickest, and that is going to be it for Austin Cook with a 16:31. Here's Cole Denton. He was outside the top 5 on 1 lap pace in practice. So this is going to be kind of intriguing to see if Cole Denton can improve on that, if the track has changed at all in his favor. Oh, man. And you can't even deny him. Cole Denton, quick time, top of the board, 16:28 for the youngster in the 46 Chevrolet. Off of turn 4. This lap might be even quicker. We'll have to see. And it's not. 16:28 is all she wrote for Cole Denton here at Pensacola in qualifying. Here's Jordan Powell, who was faster than Cole Denton. Man, he's yawing that thing out on the exit of the corner. Wicked loose. He's letting that right rear get all the way to the outside. Oh, big moment. He's sideways. Oh, what a save, Jordan Powell. Wow. All that time lost. He's still sideways up off the top, and he loses it. Oh. Big contact for Jordan Powell, who was going for it all here in qualifying. And unfortunately for JP, that is going to be all she wrote for him in qualifying, as Jacob York tries to warm up these Hoosier tires and get set for his qualifying lap. Jacob York doesn't have a pole yet, but he does have 2 wins and a lot of natural speed. Was top 5 in practice. 5th to be exact. So we'll see if, oh wow, looks like maybe even Jacob York is looking to only focus on his second lap. He must think that this strategy is really going to help him keep these tires up to temperature and be exactly where he needs them. And here he is, jumps on the throttle on the exit of turn 2. Heads into turn 3. Way up against the wall. Going to carry all that momentum down to the stripe. And he's going to dive it off into turn 1. Going to have to ignore that first lap being as slow as it is, because this is going to be the money lap. The one that Jacob York is putting all of his effort into is this one right here. Nice and smooth off the bottom. Uses all of the track on corner exits. And top of the board for Jacob York. His strategy works wonders. 16:21 with a quick time. Next up, Sean Rowe, who I guarantee you every single car after what Jacob York just did is going to be doing this exact same thing. They saw clearly that that strategy works. Use your first lap to go slow. Warm up these tires. Get the friction moving. Clean them off. And as you head off turn 2 on your first lap, or maybe even as Sean Rowe's going to do here, dives it off down the hill to start his second lap. Or first lap, actually. This is the money lap here for Sean Rowe in the 99. He jumped a little bit later than York did. We'll see if it pays off or if it's going to cause him to fumble. Second lap up, and it's not enough. 16:29 for Sean Rowe. He's still inside the top 5, but just not quite enough. Now here's Tyler Curley. Oh, I was going to say maybe he's just going to abandon all thought of using that Jacob York strategy, but no, he's definitely going to be doing the same thing. Sean Rowe, I believe, is possibly unconscious back there on the entry to pit road. Somebody get a tow truck for the 99. Curley going to use this same strategy. Oh, whoa. I believe Tyler Curley maybe did that on accident. He maybe whipped it a little too hard. But he saves it, keeps it off the wall. And if he wants to go, I think he needs to go right now. And he does. Jumps into the throttle in turn 2. Dives it down the hill. Comes off turn 4. It's going to be his first time. That doesn't mean anything. All his effort is in this money lap right here. Tyler Curley down the back straightaway. Dives it to the bottom in turns 3 and 4. Right underneath that gray seam created by Jordan Powell. And Tyler Curley jumps up to second. 15:26 for Tyler Curley. I think that's going to be good enough to secure Curley a spot inside the top 5. Now we got a first timer out on the racetrack, also in a JBD Cadillac. It's the 81 of Hunter Harriet, making his first start here in the weekly series. The only other Cadillac in the field is this 81 car, and if he's as quick as Justin Brooks, the field might have yet another problem on their hands. First lap around, up on the high side. Carrying all that momentum, and this is the money lap. 81 down the back straightaway, dives it down to the bottom of the racetrack. Just below the seams. Rides that bottom line, chases it up the hill on corner exit, uses all of the racetrack down to the stripe. Second quickest for Hunter Harriet's. 16:22. No one has yet to dethrone Jacob York in what could be his first pole position of the season. But the man who's been on fire so far this year in qualifying, Justin Brooks in the 33, might have something to say about it as he heads down the back straightaway. Almost on the chip there through the center of the corner, just with how much speed you carry through this 15 degrees of banking. Quick time for Justin Brooks. One lap is all he needed. Justin Brooks says, tie it up with a nice pretty bow and mail it back home. He claims the pole position for the Pensacola 150 at Five Flags Speedway here in the Eric Jones Foundation weekly series. And yet again, Jacob York, who probably thought he had that thing in the bag, is going to be relegated to a second place starting position behind Justin Brooks in the 33. So if we can, oh, we cannot. There is no Justin Brooks, unfortunately, to interview, at least right now. But I have no doubt that we will maybe be interviewing him in Victory Lane later today. That is a great possibility. But who could say, because one could have said that last week at Kern County, and the drama that ensued was definitely one I don't think you could predict. And in predicting that, as we sit on pit lane, wait for everybody to grid up, I was listening to, if any of you are race fans, you might know the podcast, The Teardown, and was listening to Jeff Gluck, Jordan Bianchi, kind of going back and forth. And one thing they noted was how in motorsport, and especially in stock car racing, that even these guys who know what they're talking about, who've been in the sport for years, that could say, oh, such and such person is going to perform a certain way, or such and such is going to get this many wins, or this many top fives, or whatever it is. You can say that as much as you want, but ultimately in stock car racing, it is unpredictable. And that goes for the sim as well. These things are not always as they might seem, and that just goes with sports in general. The Lakers, if they were the number 1 seed facing the number 8 seed in the NBA playoffs, and people say, oh, well, the Lakers are having the best year they've had in 10 years, 20 years, since Kobe was around, in his prime, whatever, and that they're set to win the NBA championship, but then they get eliminated by the number 8 seed, whatever they are. These things happen in racing. Just because someone can, just because someone should, just because someone is the fastest, doesn't mean they'll win. You have drivers who can overcome these kinds of problems. And although we've got drivers like Justin Brooks starting on the pole, like Jacob York starting there outside row 1, And Hunter Harriet making his first start there in that 81. Starting inside the top 3, no less, in his Cadillac. You've got drivers with such raw pace. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. These things happen. As Jacob York pulled off the racetrack, I am a little confused by that. And it is possible he might be serving a pre-race penalty due to the events of last week. But pace car's off, green flags in the air, and wouldn't you know it, we're racing in Pensacola. Oh, we got a wreck already. Brady Cox goes around big time. No caution on the racetrack. We need a caution. They are still racing off into turns 1 and 2. And there's the caution on the racetrack. Oh, there's Robbie Holder all the way down on the bottom. Well, Pensacola already proven challenging. Oh no, Sean Rose involved. And he is definitely going to need a fast repair for all that damage. Multiple cars already going to be a lap down after that one. We got to run it back to see what happened, because that was definitely kind of a steamrolling effect from Brady Cox. At least he was in the middle of it. Run it back here in slow-mo. Austin Cook blinked. Oh, no. Oh, and he blinked huge. I mean, completely disappeared off the racetrack. So Austin Cook blinking like crazy and makes no contact with Brady Cox, but apparently netcode said otherwise. Right there, you see Austin Cook kind of, almost his car kind of shimmies. It glides across the ground before it disappears, and it's like it hits Brady Cox with the netcode and ultimately sends him for a spin, and everybody else just left to scatter, makes more contact. So a big-time netcode for the 17 ruins a lot of people's days early. Let's go ahead and catch back up to the field. I don't know if there's going to be any kind of penalty on Austin Cook because of that, as he's still sitting up front, not dealing with any blinking right now. But it is possible that that might not be something they can risk. But still out front, through that about lap and a half scuffle between the leaders, is Brooks and Curley, as Curley was able to move up to row 1 to get a fresh start. "150 laps the distance tonight here in Pensacola. Halfway caution expected around lap 75, unless we have a caution around that time, and then that will count as the halfway yellow. Couple of drivers in the pits. Looks like Hunter Harriet had to take it to pit lane in his number 81 Cadillac, as well as Cole Denton, who just now pulled off pit road. Sean Robe is back out on the racetrack, still with damage. So that tells you just how important these fast repairs are. I mean, lap 1, you get an incident that's going to cause you to need your fast repair already. It's almost better to just ignore it. But Sean Rowe, a lap down early, holding on to that fast repair for later, maybe hoping he can just get his laps back, as he's going to go ahead and try to get one back here in the 99. But he might get lapped quicker than he can get back around to join the field. But we've already got a restart. Pace car pulls off into the restart zone, and Justin Brooks light a fire underneath that Cadillac. We are green. We're once again here in Pensacola. Oh, Curley way up the racetrack. They're off that restart, but Justin Brooks has jumped out to a considerable lead, and Curley lost 2 spots in that scuffle with Austin Cook. It is possible that Austin Cook may have had another blinking moment that apparently maybe made contact with the 4 car, but either way, Curley's able to recover. He holds on to a spot just a couple of car lengths behind the 88 of Hunter Johnson. Oh, there's a blink. That's a blink from Austin Cook that has been causing so many problems. Man, this is the onboard from Hunter Johnson. That's just scary because Austin Cook is right to the back bumper of the 33. One wrong net code, and it could send the 33 flying into the catch fence. But man, Austin Cook is putting a lot of pressure on the 33 car right now as they head down the front straightaway. I mean, you can't even tell where Austin Cook is. It's impossible to call. How do you defend this? Austin Cook, the blinking has stabilized as he pulls right up to the back bumper of the 33. The drivers in third and fourth starting to pull up on the 2 leaders, but Hunter Johnson loses a little bit there. I think he got sketched out again by the 17's blinking. It's one of those things that's going to distract you being in front of it, and even when it's behind you, you look in your mirror and you've got all that flashing going on. It's not going to make it easier on you in trying to make a pass. Curley focused on trying to run the bottom of the racetrack, but the 88 really making that second groove work and taking the momentum down the front straightaway. Jaden Kratasi making moves. Didn't have the greatest of one-lap speed, but he's already worked his way up inside the top 5, just getting past Jordan Powell. Jordan Powell now sandwiched between the Oldsmobile of Kratasi and the Cadillac of Hunter Harriet. But Hunter Harriet, man, he's getting a mirror full of Brady Cox in the 76 machine. All these guys are stacked right up around each other. Look at Jordan Powell making a move to the outside. What a power move by Jordan Powell. Unfortunately, though, that outside just is not rubbered in. He's not going to be able to make it stick. And that leaves the door wide open for the 81 to take down low. Go to the inside. Go digging through turns 3 and 4. Brady Cox going to follow him through as well. And now Jordan's just opened this outside groove. Rubber's in a little bit quicker, but that contact with the outside wall is not going to help him. Damage doesn't look terrible, at least for right now, but he's falling back through the field. A lot of surprising drivers in this half of the pack. Cole Denton, with probably the worst view he's had all season. For a point this early in the race, all the way back in 11th. This is going to put him inside the top 5 if he's able to get around Jordan Powell. It's going to be 10th out lap, but at the same time, man, these guys are struggling. Driver labeled as the 14, but is driving that number 8 car is Tristan Newman. Trying to do battle there with the 41 of Zach Nichols. That's for the 8th spot. Zach Nichols got past him last time by. Check back up on our leaders. Justin Brooks still led every lap so far in the 33 machine, but these top 4 have just absolutely jumped into their own zip code. As we look off the back at Justin Brooks here in the 33. Next time by will be a quarter of the way through the first 100 laps. And so far, Justin Brooks leads the way for the field. Austin Cook in second. Appears his blinking has stabilized, at least for the moment. Hunter Johnson holding comfortably onto the 3rd spot, with Tyler Curley right there in 4th, within a car length striking distance of the 88. And then Jaden Kratasi all the way back here leading this train of cars. That goes from 5th all the way back to 12th. A lot of guys locked in right now, just trying to keep from hitting each other. Tyler Curley, slowly but surely closing that gap to the 88. He's within half a car length now as they head off turn 4. Oh, and he gets contact with the outside wall. That's that problem spot for Curley, and not just Curley, but the rest of the field. Is that spot on corner exit of 4. It's really easy to misjudge it. Think you've got more asphalt than you do to work with as you head off the exit of the corner. And just a little misjudgment could knock in a toe link, could blow a tire. But so far after that contact, it looks like Curley's still got the car underneath him. Sean Rowe prepped to go a lap down. Jacob York just ahead. Way behind. He's probably just hoping to either A, for a caution, or B, to make it to the halfway yellow. But now with this 30-lap run so far, with every driver spread out through the field, we're going to take a nice little early edition of Crank It Up. You won't miss a thing. Stay tuned to turn up the volume for the sound of late model stock racing at Pensacola. Oh, we got a big spin in the back. These drivers were inches apart lap after lap, and it was bound to happen. The freight train of late model stocks comes to an end at mid-pack, with the 41 making heavy contact. Multiple cars involved, but ultimately Zach Nichols was at the middle. Second caution of the day. Nice little 30, almost 40 lap run we had there before the yellow came out. Let's rewind and see what happened between these drivers. This mid-pack terrain was going for a long time. I was surprised they managed to stay this close as long as they did. So ultimately, oh, Zach Nichols gets sent for a ride. And Jaden Kratasi involved as well. Let's run this back again because it seemed like maybe the 8 just overdrove the corner. It's looking that way. So the 8 gets into the back of the 41. He gets into the Brady Cox in the 76, sends him into the corner. Lifts into it, but the 8 of Tristan Newman is kind of able to back off, but at the same time rolls through the center a little bit better and sends that 41 car around, gets underneath him, and then Jaden Kratasi, with basically nowhere to go, lifts the 41 and the 8 both off the ground. It was very likely the 41 was going to go for a tumble, and somehow he managed to keep it on all 4 wheels. But big time damage for Jaden Kratasi as well, who was also falling back through the field, oddly enough. Jaden Kratasi was running comfortably in 5th and all of a sudden just really dropped off the surface of the track. Right there too, looks like maybe something broke to send Kratasi into the outside wall. As he goes to catch back up to the field. We're going to catch things up real quick as everybody's down on pit road. Kratasi out on the racetrack. One of the first cars off pit road, actually, I believe, as well. But lo and behold, who's out front? Jacob York. He was way back in 11th before that caution came out, way back on the pack. And now here he is out front, staying out on this caution cycle. So a couple of guys coming in. Some taking tires, some fuel only. Just so they can run a little bit farther and also to take less fuel whenever it comes to the halfway caution break, because drivers should be able to make it to the end from the halfway yellow if they are full on fuel. But it's set to get going again. But this time, the 97, the silver bullet, the man on fire, Jacob York, set for the first time tonight. Take the field to green as soon as the pace car jumps off, jumps in the throttle, and light that fuse behind York as he takes off into 1. Oh, Jacob York pulls off the racetrack. And he's taking his car to pit road. So Jacob York down to the pit lane. I'm not really sure why, but now it puts it in the hands of Hunter Johnson and Tyler Curley to duke it out for the race lead. Side by side off the restart, 2 lanes deep. Austin Cook back there battling with Brady Cox for the 3rd spot. But Hunter Johnson uses that inside lane to power drive it up to the front. Little contact back there between the 76 and the 17. Austin Cooks shuffling him up the racetrack. They are 3 wide down the front straightaway. Brady Cox has to bail out. The 41 uses him up a little bit. Loses 2 spots in 1 corner. And now Justin Brooks trying to get by the 41 here. Slots in behind the 17, but they are still side by side for the race lead. 17 looking to try to make the outside lane work. It's kind of worked for him here so far. Looks like the 97 maybe had a pass-through penalty, so he's already back out on the racetrack. Oh, and around goes the 81 car. Robbie Holder's there. Brady Cox as well, and we got another caution on the racetrack. That was an interesting spin. I don't know what happened there. Hunter Johnson's out front now and will retain the race lead. Curley 2nd, Cook 3rd, Brooks 4th, and Zach Nichols in 5th. Let's run it back and see what happened here with the 81 car. Oh, looks like it might be between the 76. Oh, big wiggle. Man, just a lot of contact. And then an unfortunate circumstance there for the 81. Nothing Jordan Powell could do there. I think that might have even been a little bit of net code to upset the car there as well. But unfortunately, 81 goes packing up the hill. But no big-time damage there, as Cole Denton brings his car back to the pit lane, as well does Sean Rowe. We'll see if Sean Rowe opts to take his fast repair this time. It doesn't look like he will. Maybe just topping off on fuel and getting what repairs he can. Cole Denton looks like he is only taking fuel. No, he's taking left side tires. So he is taking tires here on this pit stop. So Cole Denton pulling off the pit lane. Sean Rowe is still stationary on pit road. Maybe thinking he can get this damage repaired before we head back green. But we are inside 100 laps to go. And Hunter Johnson and Tyler Curley had a good little battle going there for the race lead before the caution came out. Justin Brooks is back there in 4th now. And he was already driving his way up through the front, made up several spots before the yellow. I'm sure we're not done seeing him claim spots, but he's got 3 pretty fast cars in front of him, and he's not been in traffic all day long. Obviously, Brooks is more than capable of outracing these guys ahead of him, but the dirty air here at a bigger track like Pensacola might come into play when trying to take a spot away. Juice cone in effect. Hunter Johnson picks the inside lane. Tyler Curley is going to pick the outside of row number 1. Row 2 is going to be Austin Cook down low with Justin Brooks bringing it around the high side. And in row 3 is going to be Zach Nichols in the 41 back there in the 5th position with Jordan Powell in the 6th spot to his outside. He's going to be pushing that Cadillac of Justin Brooks to the green flag as it's back in the wind. Lighted up behind the 88, and he takes off. Oh, big push there for the 17. I don't know how he didn't get absolutely taken out, but they are 3 wide back here for the 5th spot. Jordan Powell bails out of the gas and heads up to the high side, and now he's blinking. We got another caution as well. Looks like it might be Robbie Holder involved, as Robbie Holder is down in the grass of the pit area. I believe he's the only car, so I'm not entirely sure why the yellow was thrown just for that, as he was safely off the racing surface. But we'll run it back and see. Actually, does Robbie have any beef here? Doesn't look like it. Let's run it back, see what happened. Oh, whoa. It looks like he went all over the place. So he's sitting down low. Oh, Brady Cox involved as well in that. Big contact. Sends Robbie Holder up into the outside wall. Just kind of stranded waiting for a yellow. Unfortunately, couldn't get things turned around quick enough. So Brady Cox was also involved. He had damage, as that whole inside groove just checked up so much, I don't think anyone was expecting it. These things happen. It was one of those things I was surprised that freight train of cars around the mid-pack hadn't had a situation like that through the green flag run early on. But we do have about 10 laps to what would be the halfway yellow. So we'll see if we have a nice little sprint here to that point, or if we just push it to lap 100. Tyler Curley in the 2nd spot, looking to get his 2nd win of the season. In behind the 88 of Hunter Johnson. Justin Brooks able to leapfrog Austin Cook there during that very, very short green flag run and get up into the 3rd spot. So now all he has to do is get past the 2 cars in front of him of Curley and Johnson. Completely forgot to end the poll, but it is a dead even tie. Do we have a first-time winner or a repeat winner? As of right now, it's looking like we might have a first-time winner with leader Hunter Johnson out front on the racetrack. But all three of those drivers behind him have already won a race this season. So at this point, as we near halfway, it's anybody's guess. And it looks like due to the excessiveness of the yellow flags, we started doing this last week, or a couple of weeks ago. Some of you noticed at Hickory, excessive cautions equals single file restarts. So Hunter Johnson is going to lead this field of late model stocks in a single file fashion, like you're in a kindergarten class, into the restart zone, jumping into the throttle, and Curly really jumped into it. Austin Cook gets absolutely packed in the rear. That's 2 restarts now that the 17 has gotten really bent out of shape off the start. Cole Denton pushing the middle 3 wide. 81 up top. Jacob York down low, who's on fresh tires. Oh, and they make contact! Cole Denton turns the 97 up into the field. Multiple cars involved, and we got a yellow. Brooks had yet to get past the 4. But man, what an awful turn of events this race has been. Way too many cautions. These drivers are not showing out for themselves. At least not right now, as they're making way too much contact, way too many incidences occurring. As that is going to count as our halfway yellow, and plenty of drivers going to take this opportunity to head down pit road. A lot of drivers staying out. Leader Hunter Johnson, first car in his pit stall. But will he be the first car off pit road? Looks like Jaden Gratasi gets off pit road quick. Justin Brooks is already on and off. But looking at the pace car, the first car behind that pace car, Tristan Newman, first time starter in that number 8 Chevrolet. Cole Denton there in second, also stayed out after that tangle. Less than 100 laps to go. Under caution here for the 4th or 5th time here tonight. Through 70 laps of racing, we've already had 5 cautions here in Pensacola. Tristan Newman out front in his Chevrolet for the first time tonight, staying out after that yellow. Cole Denton staying out as well. Jacob York following him through. And Sean Rowe, the first time he has been back inside the top 5 since his opening lap incident. And it looks as though the 99 has chosen to take his fast repair finally through that cycle of pit stops. And the 99 now is going to move up to the... Oh, wow, Jacob York. I don't know if he's showing displeasure with Cole Denton, but it looks like he is. I would call that displeasure. Oh, absolutely dented in the front bumper. As the 97 tried to fit up inside. I think he was trying to fit up there for the restart. Oh, and he's still giving Cole Denton the bumper. Oh, and he turns him! Jacob York has spun the 2 leaders.
Hang on, we're not going green. Not going green.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a quick break to discuss the issues that just happened on track. We're back for some green flag racing. Green flag's back in the air as Newman's going to lead him off into one for the first time tonight. Single file restarts. We are past halfway. 74 laps to go here at Five Flags. Oh, and Cole Denton turns the 8 car up into the outside wall. And we got another caution. What a wreck fest this race has turned into. And I imagine that is going to be a penalty on Cole Denton. What massive contact. The field in front of Justin Brooks just keeps tearing himself apart. And Justin Brooks has just been able to easily waltz his way up back to the front row. And there it is. Justin Brooks won't even have to race for it. He is back out front after Cole Denton is going to be sent to the rear. Call it what you want, but this race has been one of those, what you call a barn burner for the series. It looked like it may have a spark, a glimmer of hope through the first 46, 47 laps. But after that second caution fell, things have just gone to the wind as Jacob York taking out multiple drivers en route to a DNQ and being removed from the racetrack. But we're back to double file. And it's going to be Justin Brooks and Sean Rowe making up the front row. We have Justin Brooks, the fastest driver right now in the series, versus Sean Rowe looking to break into the win category for the first time. Green flags back in the air. We're racing with 70 laps to go here at Pensacola. Sean Rowe up the racetrack. He's got a lot of pressure down low from Jaden Kurtasi. Dives it down to the inside. Man, Sean not being able to put up much of a fight right now up there on the outside. But Kurtasi able to keep that bottom rolling. And slides up in front of Sean Rowe, who continues to fall back. But the man who is pulling away right now, Justin Brooks, in the 33. He is absolutely trying to go to another zip code. Kurtasi up to second. Nichols up to third. Sean Rowe back to fifth, with Hunter Johnson moving up into the fourth spot. Everybody pretty much single file now around the bottom of the racetrack. Sean Rowe up top. Austin Cook moving by him now as well. Sean really struggling right now in the 99 as he has continued to just lose spots and drop through the field. But everybody else single filed out, running the bottom of the racetrack, trying to make laps. On board with Hunter Johnson as he puts the fight to Zach Nichols. Oh my goodness. If they didn't make contact, they sure came close. You couldn't fit a dog hair between those two race cars. Johnson with a better drive off the corner. Dives it into turn one. He's really strong there on entry. But the 41 has that consistent drive off the corner that he just cannot match. And it looks like Tyler Curley making a move to the inside of the 88 now. Curley down low, Johnson up top. Drag race down the back for the fourth spot. Ooh, Curley, little bit of apron he caught down there on the bottom. Sparks flying from behind with Austin Cook, who has gotten ever closer to this battle. Curley, Johnson, Austin Cook, 2 car lengths back. Looking for an opening. Justin Brooks, that lead has dwindled as Jaden Kurtasi and Zach Nichols both have caught the leaders. Grattassi riding on board with Jaden as he tries to hunt down Justin Brooks in the 33. Will the power of his Oldsmobile be enough to drive him around the Cadillac that has been so strong over the last 4 weeks? 59 laps to go. And I'm not going to say anything about how clean the racing is because I know if I do, they're bound to wad them up. And I'd like this thing to stay green. Inside 60 to go for the weekly series. Grattassi right to the back bumper of Justin Brooks. I think Grattassi might have, I was going to say, might have more pace. But I think Brooks is just backing himself up to the 75. He's not using, oh, Curley! He makes contact and around goes the 41. There's the yellow. Austin Cook trying to avoid it. Ended up spinning on his own as well. And there it is, another yellow off the nose of Tyler Curley. Run things back to the point of contact. Man, I mean, Curley was really forcing his bumper in there. Let's run it back. So right there, he was down. Let's run this back and see exactly where Curley was at the point of contact. Oh, wow. Curley sends it from about half a car length back. In all honesty, right here, they make contact. 41 with a great save, though. And Curley just, I don't know, if 17 runs into him as well. Yeah. Hunter Johnson somehow does not get caught up in that. Immediately checked up and reacted. But unfortunately, Curley, I imagine, going to get some kind of a penalty for that. As we are set under yellow, and we're about to pass 100 laps completed here at Five Flag Speedway. We'll crown the first winner of the first Five Flags race in Season 2. So we've got plenty of drivers heading down to the pit lane. Zach Nichols is a lap down after being involved and wrecked by Tyler Curley in that incident. Coming down pit road to get some repairs. Cole Denton on pit road as well. Sean Rowe already on the pit lane. Robbie Holder, Jordan Powell, and Austin Cook all making strides. Sean Rowe, first car off pit road, followed by Cole Denton and Austin Cook. All the rest of these drivers are going to be left to fend for themselves. Up and down for a lot of these drivers. Plenty of incidences they've been involved in, and accidents, wrecks, things of their own doing. Green flag. Don't think that's correct. Next time by, it might be the green flag. Actually, no. Pace car's pace light is still on. And Justin Brooks is still out front. But this will put the Oldsmobile Cutlass of Jaden Grattassi right to the back bumper of Brooks, who chooses to restart on the inside behind the leaders rather than try to go side by side with Brooks into turn one. So a gutsy move here by Grattassi to follow the 33 off the restart rather than challenge him. And that's going to leave Hunter Johnson in the 88 back up to the front row as he moves up to the outside. Brooks, Johnson, Pace car off. Green flags back in the air. We are inside 50 laps to go at 5 flags. Who will survive? Who will claim the checkered flag? Justin Brooks to the point. Bertassi to third. Hunter Johnson leapfrogs the 11, aka the 75 of Bertassi. .44 laps to go. Hunter Johnson looking to make a strike at the 33. He's not going to be able to get there. Tyler Curley out back around the outside of Jordan Powell. That's for 7th. Everybody's single filed out now as they head down the back straightaway. Inside 40 laps to go. A little bit more blinking there out of the 17. Get him some blinker fluid. I'm sure Curley still has some left over from last season he can let him borrow. Oh man, the 17 is just gone. He's nowhere to be seen on the racetrack. And there's the yellow. Or no yellow, I don't know. This race has been just confusing. But we stay green. Ignore the yellow flag. Because we are green for the moment. Do not let the leaderboard lie to you. As I just realized that we are way behind. And we have a yellow. Tyler Curley out on the racetrack, involved in another incident. As well as what looks like Zach Nichols. We can rewind things, see what happened. Here's Curley. The 41 gets to the back bumper. Possible retaliation. Oh, and there it is. That looks like retaliation to me from the 41. And to be quite frank, I can imagine that several drivers, after their actions racing tonight, will not be returning. Just completely uncalled for actions by the 41. Same with the 97 earlier in the race. Plenty of racing etiquette thrown out the window by plenty of these drivers here tonight that I'm sure will face severe consequences off the racetrack. As Justin Brooks is out front with 38 laps to go. Pandemonium. This is one of those things we say, you can't predict these things. You can never predict who will survive, who will make it to the end. But we're through to the choose cone. As we've got the 1 lap to green signal with Justin Brooks out front. Austin Cook to his outside, Cole Denton to the inside of row number 2, and Jaden Kratasi up top on the outside of row 2. Can they go green to the end, or do we have another yellow? Green flags back in the air. 36 laps to go with the stripe. Bumper to bumper through traffic. Oh, big moment there for Jordan Powell. Up on the outside of Curley. Sean Rowe trying to reel in these leaders, keep his top 5 streak alive. As all he has to do to keep it going is get past the 75 of Kratasi. As Cole Denton, looking as strong as he has looked all night long, looks to the inside of the 17. Makes quick. Oh, big apron moment. Cole Denton gets sideways. He spins in front of the field. And we have another yellow on the racetrack. This time with an unbelievable, uncharacteristic mistake from the 46.
Here's what I found.
I can't believe it. I don't think we have ever seen Cole Denton make a mistake like that, or as many mistakes as he's made in this race. Watching it from up top. Rolling through turns 3 and 4 right there. The transition from the apron to the racetrack is what upset the 46. He shoots up the track right in front of the 17's nose. And that little bit of contact was just enough to send Cole Denton packing to the inside wall. We're going to speed things back up. Catch back up to the field. Cole Denton had to come down pit road, and so did Austin Cook to get tires. Because it looks like he also has some damage to that 17. But out front still, Justin Brooks in the 33. Hunter Johnson in the 88. Jaden Kratasi in the 75. Sean Rowe up into the top 5 now in 4th. And Tyler Curley in the 5th position. Pace car set to pull off. Next time by. And Justin Brooks once again is going to lead this field to the green flag and try to lead this thing all the way to the end. Pace car's off. Brooks, Johnson, restart zone. Green flag's back in the air. 29 laps to go. Oh man, we got a lot of movement going on throughout the pack. Tyler Curley trying to make moves left, right, and center, but there's just no hole opening up for him to break into the top 3. Sean Rudd, though, he's got some pressure on the outside from Zach Nichols in the 41. He's trying to end the 99's top 10 or top 5 streak. On board with Sean Rowe. He's getting all used up here. Sorry, on board with Curley as he's getting used up. Oh my goodness, Sean Rowe knocks Curley up the racetrack. Curley has not had a good time here tonight, and he is probably ready to put this thing in the hauler and take it home. I'd be surprised if that car even manages to finish with how it looks on the outside. You can only imagine how angry the driver on the inside is. On board with Kratasi. Riding 3rd behind Hunter Johnson and Justin Brooks. Hunter Johnson has raced at 5 Flags multiple times in his career. In real life, in super trucks, he knows his way around this speedway, and he is trying to take the fight to Brooks. Sean Rowe to the back bumper of Kratasi. Looks like Rowe might have some pace in that Mustang that he didn't have earlier in the race. He's going to try to use it to get past this 75 and maybe break through for a podium. Austin Cook making quick moves on the 99. Sean Rowe back to 5th now with Austin Cook up to 4th. Inside 20 to go. Brooks, Johnson, Kratasi, Cook, and Rowe make up your top 5. Justin Brooks ready to put this one away after a long caution-filled event here in Pensacola. 17 to go. Next time by is going to be 15 laps to go. And I can imagine most of the drivers in this field Justin Brooks out front, Hunter Johnson in 2nd, Kratasi 3rd. Making up your podium, at least for the moment. Austin Cook trying to break into the picture. And Sean Rowe just trying to hold on for a top 5 finish. But man, talk about Jordan Powell. Back here in the 75 Huffman machine. This guy has run in this position so consistently since his first start this season. And you can only be proud, be surprised even. And some might even say shocked by the improvement that Jordan Powell has made in such a short time to be able to run so consistently. But right now, his focus isn't on where he's sitting, it's on keeping it as he's got a mirror full of the 41 of Zach Nichols. Nichols up to the top. Jordan Powell holding on to the bottom. Nichols now under pressure from Cole Denton in the 46 as Jordan Powell is just trying to hang on for dear life. Inside 10 laps to go. Justin Brooks trying to pull away, but Hunter Johnson is within striking distance. Only 6 car lengths separate the 2 leaders, but Hunter Johnson is just not able to close the gap. Austin Cook, on the other hand, though, he's reeling in this 11 car. He's only got 5 laps to go at the line to try to get past him. But this would make another race inside the top 5 and on the podium for Austin Cook. At the stripe for Justin Brooks. 4 laps to go from Pensacola. Due to some broadcasting restraints, we will be ending things early. When the checkered flag flies, there will be no interviews following the conclusion of the race, but we will give some brief announcements, things you can look forward to in the coming weeks here from the NASCAR Weekly Series on iRacing, presented by the Eric Jones Foundation. So make sure you stay tuned for that at the conclusion of the race before we let you guys go. But right now, it's all Justin Brooks in the 33, and who could say they're surprised? Through 3 and 4 to the white flag. White flag's in the wind one more time around for Justin Brooks. His Cadillac sails down to the bottom of the racetrack. Exits off turn 2. Down the back straightaway into 3. It is well and away clear for the 33. Off of 4. Cameras flashing. Brooks claims 5 flags. Your winner tonight in Pensacola is Justin Brooks with a phenomenal, respectful drive. As we said, while Brooks goes out to celebrate, we will conclude our broadcast with some news here for the weekly series. Most important note is that following tonight's race, that we are going to have a mid-season break until the Oxford 250. So that means we will not be active racing for 3 weeks. The series will be on hold. These drivers will have plenty of time to prep for what could arguably be the biggest race in weekly series history, the Oxford 250, here with the late model stock cars at Oxford Plains Speedway here on iRacing. It's going to lay host. There's going to be heat racing, small field, plenty of drivers going to be amped up to try to win that one. 250 laps around Oxford is going to be a challenge for sure. But at the conclusion of tonight's race, Justin Brooks brings home the checkered flag at Five Flags Speedway and becomes the second multi-time winner this season behind Jacob York. And that is going to conclude all the activities for today's events at Five Flags. We are going to skip over pre-race interviews because some things need to be dealt with concerning the incidences involving the race. But we appreciate you all so much for tuning in and watching along for the racing here at Five Flags for the weekly series on iRacing. Remember, we are not directly affiliated with the Eric Jones Foundation, but just choosing to highlight all the great and wonderful work that foundation does. If you have any interest in supporting the Eric Jones Foundation, make sure to head down to the description below of the live stream, and you will see some links, some information, and ways that you can support and donate to the Eric Jones Foundation. With that being said, that is going to conclude our activities for tonight. Tune back in roughly 3 weeks for an action-packed week of racing at Oxford for the Oxford 250 weekend. As always, I'm Ryan Murphy, your host of the NASCAR Late Model Stock Weekly Series here on iRacing, presented by the Eric Jones Foundation. That's going to be all she wrote from Pensacola. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks.